Round one has begun. We're on the play. And I think I'm going to keep this hand. We don't have any black mana right now, which is kind of a problem, but we have a turn 1 Elvish Mystic, so like whatever we draw, we're going to be able to, just having a Mystic on turn 1 is going to put us so far ahead. Like if we do happen to draw a Swamp right off the top, we get to play our Assistant, and then we actually get to put its 3 power to use, which is pretty rare for the card. So let's get this show on the road if Magic Online ever cooperates. Haven't had too many problems with the new client so far. I've heard some horror stories, but outside of a few random crashes, I haven't had too much of a negative experience with it. Still get to play Magic, so I'm happy. Not sure. These moments always make me nervous because I'm not sure if it's actually my opponent's clock that's holding us back or if my computer is just lagging, which is often the case. But it appears that we're moving along now. Sunblade Elf, that's not good. Well, I will offer the trade because I value getting his Sunblade Elf off the table more than the life of my own elf. There's the plains. Yeah. Okay. That was a very needed swamp. So I could just ulcerate here, but I think I'm just gonna take this opportunity to use my mana efficiently and play the Assistant. Especially because if I rip a Scavenger off the top, I want to be able to have it actually do something. It also incentivizes us, by the way, to trade off our creatures aggressively. That's something this deck, that's part of the reason why this deck is so grindy, is because in order to make your Scavengers better, you really want to trade your bears for their bears, just to make this bigger when it comes into play, and to generally keep the board clear because you're on the defensive a lot of the time. And this is the situation where I do not think Swift Claw is a very good card because I can just trade it off for my Mystic. I think I'm just going to trade it off for the Assistant though. I do think we can still make some use out of this Elvish Mystic later on down the line. Plus if he had like a Gather Courage or something, we could still make the trade there, which is not negligible, because we did pass one of those, I believe, earlier in the draft. Alright, Assistant number 2. Still going to play that. We do need to ulcerate this elf at some point. It might have even been correct to just do it there, since he now will be able to untap with Triplicate Spirits mana, assuming he has a land. So it's possible that was a mistake, but I value protecting my own life total and getting this Ob Nixilis into play with as clear of a board as possible, so that's the play I made. I might have wanted to play one more Swamp, by the way. I didn't mention this in deck building, but I ran an even split of Forests and Swamps, even though we do have way more black spells in green. Roaring Primadox, do not mind that too much. Let's see if he attacks here. Yep. Okay, Rockfeaster Maggot. What can that hit right now? Looks like it's only gaining us 1 life. But I think that's okay because it's still going to hold off all of his guys. Yeah, there's not, the only other option would be holding up Ulcerate, as I said, but he had the opportunity to have Triplicate Spirits there, which I think he would have played had he had it, so we can safely assume that's not going to happen to us this turn. So I'd rather just gum up the board as much as possible. We're only going to gain 1 life, as I said, but still just having a Siege Mastodon in play is going to get us a long way towards extending this game. So just continue playing guys and passing. And Primadox is actually helping us more than it's helping him right now. He doesn't have any way to abuse it unless he draws like a Shaman of Spring or something, but it's forcing him to pick up his guys every turn, and he won't be able to use his mana as efficiently. Yeah. Just gonna auto yield to this ability so I don't have to keep clicking OK. It's got a 4-drop. Griffin. Sure. So if I don't draw Swamp this turn, I think I'm just going to Ulcerate. Oh, it's kind of awkward. So it is kind of a decision here whether I want to Ulcerate this guy or the Razorfoot Griffin, because the Griffin is actually going to, you know, kill us given enough time. The Elf is probably a greater concern in the long run, because our flyers do deal with his Razorfoot Griffin eventually. It's also worth noting that I might want to hold on to the Ulcerate just because we want to make this guy bigger, but I don't think that's what we want to do. He has 2 cards in hand. Could be something like a Sanctified Charge, which would be a major problem. I think I'm just going to Ulcerate this thing right now and assume we're going to draw an answer to this Griffin at some point, or at least a Swamp, so that we can utilize the answers already in our hand. This also, Ulcerating now also makes it a little rougher on his Roaring Primadox, because it's going to constrict what he's going to be able to do this turn, since he can't just pick up his 1-drop and replay it like he did last time. And he picks up his Midnight Guard. So I assume he's just going to replay the Midnight Guard now. There it is. Attack for 2. Oh, something else. Warden of Beyond. Do not have something in exile, which is good because my Rotfeaster Maggot exiled one of his things. It scared me for a minute though. But as it stands, I think we're in good shape. As long we have like 7 turns to deal with this Razorfoot Griffin, and I'm not too worried. Okay, and this is why I'm not crazy about cards like Witch's Familiar. It's I guess it was good against his draw earlier, but it doesn't deal with the bigger problem with the deck, which is cards like this. Anyway, we'll just play this and continue passing. Auto yield to this again. Roaring Primadox is still kind of a hindrance to him, which is good. It's going to make it harder for him to just overwhelm the board. He's just going to have to keep picking stuff up and replaying them. Drop. Nissa. Well, that's not fair. That card's unbeatable. Alright, well, we pretty much need a Swamp right now to get one of our guys down, or we're gonna get destroyed by Nissa. So the one, I guess there are several, but one of the major downfalls of this deck is bombs like Nissa. Oh, he's just untapping Forest. Do not agree with that play. You really want that Warden of Beyond in play more than the 4/4 Trampler that can attack this turn? Don't think that's what you want to be doing. Anyway. Swamp. Okay, so we have some decisions to make. By decisions, I mean which creature we're going to play. I think it's more in our favor to play the Tormentor first, because this is going to 5 next turn, and if we happen to draw a way to deal with the Razorfoot Griffin, we can kill it. He'll get a 4/4 out of the deal, but he's still going to be constrained by his Primadox, and I think that gives us a better chance of... Plus, just since it has the triggered ability on upkeep, we want to, like, we're more incentivized to get it into play earlier. So I think I'm just going to drop this. Actually, I'm gonna see if I can attack first. This would be eaten. Yeah, we don't really have any good attacks at the moment. We would just be suiciding our assistant here. This would block this, this would block this. Nissa would take 3. That's not good enough. So we're just gonna have to play this and sit back, hope to draw. Like, there's a good chance that we'll be drawing 2 next turn, or we could just go to 16, but I'm not optimistic about my chances of beating Nissa, but it's not impossible. He's gonna have to pick up his Warden again. He's in the tank, which means he's either deciding what to do with his Nissa or he drew something relevant. I'll give him a minute while he's in the tank and come back.